Gentlemen, welcome to week 13 of the Big Ballers League. What a week we had last week. Man, oh man, oh man, I'll tell you what, things only continue to get tighter. And I'm going to go through all of that in the scenarios this week that come into play for week 13. We've already had one game off the board, which had three players in it. Make It Rain had Fred Jackson with 11 points. Bayou Bandits had 10 points out of Thomas Jones on the last real play of the game that sealed the victory for the Jets. Ended up with 10 points, and Dustin Keller from Now You're in New York had 1 point on one catch. A lot to be said for the really speculative Jets quarterback situation. Once Clemens went in there last night, it was ugly, but they got the win 19-13. Good job, Jets. Week 13, everybody is mathematically still in this thing. There are 3 guaranteed playoff berths already, and that is to first place, 3.5 men, second place, Cock and Balls, and third place, Now You're in New York. They are all in the playoffs, guaranteed, locked and loaded. So good job with that. Last week's action saw the Dogs finally coming in to their own with a big, big victory at the mercy of, like I said last week, arguably the worst luck in all of fantasy this year. Make It Rain, who has now changed their name to What the Frig? 153-147. 153 was high point total for the weeks, giving the Dogs their first high point total. Great job, Dogs. Big play out of Rodgers last week. 44 points again after having him on the shelf for 44 the week before. Also saw big action again out of Steven Jackson. Just continues to play hugely in these weeks of fantasy. Big player for the Dogs going into the home stretch here. Steven Jackson getting 25 carries a game and making them count. Did have it wrong again last week. Played Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis had, a mediocre week, and Antonio Gates went nuts with 30 plus, and he was on the shelf. So be interesting to see how they do going into this coming week. The Dogs, still a lot of moves. They've made 20 moves. What the Frig has made 22 moves, moved to 3-9. The Dogs to 5-7, right in the hunt. Basically for the former Make It Rain 3-9, What the Frigs. They got to win out and have a lot of stuff happen. Big play last week out of Drew Brees. 63 points just wasn't enough. Make It Rain finishes with myself this week and next week with Cock and Balls. So they got the work cut out for them. Certainly next week. This week we'll see. The Dogs have a big matchup this week with Bayou Bandits and finish with Now You're in New York. So again, the Dogs right in the hunt. They got to pretty much win one more to have a good opportunity to make in. If they win out, they're in. No issue because they're one game ahead of the sixth place team. So they win out, they're in. Good luck to both the Dogs and to What the Frig. As you can see, I'm coming to you on a Friday afternoon late to get this out. I'm coming to you from the man cave. Took me a little while to set this up, and it's still not right. I got Christmas lights in here. I got TVs going. This is where it all happens on Sunday. I got 6 screens going with all the games. I got fantasy up. I got everything going on. I got players in here, too, as you can see. I got Cadillac Williams if I need them. I got the Seminoles if I need them. The Seminoles are here. I got, LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian Tomlinson's in the house. I got Tom Brady, but I don't like Tom Brady because he plays for the bums. I got Roethlisberger, another enemy for the bums. I got Peyton Manning. Here's Peyton, another enemy. He plays for another set of bums. And I got Randy Moss, who I traded Moss. He's out of here. I can't stand Moss. And
What's up? John, give me a new team. Give me a new team. Go.
I got, as you can see, Larry Fitz. Turn around, Fitz. Turn around. Here's Larry Fitz. He hangs out with me on the weekdays getting ready for Fantasy Sunday. See you later, Fitz. All right, so second action of the week saw the beloved Cock and Balls continue to roll on what really was an anybody's game come Monday night. Cock and Balls ended up beating Sabod, suck a bag of knees, beat them 143-96, which was a much, much closer matchup. It was an 8-point game going into Monday night. And Suckabagadis had their ace, Tom Brady, going, and they had one other player going. I can't. Who was it?
I thought it was your Taylor.
No, it was. Anyway, they had Tom Brady going, which was major for them. And then Cock and Balls had Colston, who had just a huge, huge night, over 100 yards and a touch. Great night. And they had Lawrence Maroney, who was a great pickup for the Cock and Balls last week, ended up getting up 2 touches and 17 points. They beat him going away when Tom Brady just couldn't get on track against the powerful, powerful, for real Saints. And that's what happened there, 143-96. Sabod's got their work cut out for them. I said it last week. They play the only two. They play the only 2 winning record teams going in this week. They got Now You're in New York, who, as I said, got 1 point out of the Keller. And next week they play 3.5 Men, which is going to be a tough matchup. So Sabod's got their work cut out for them. Cock and Balls, guaranteed a playoff spot. Great job, Cock and Balls. Another just proof of, hey, picking a team and seeing what happens. Got 9 moves on the year. Hasn't done a lot of strange things here. Getting big play out of Phillip Rivers and getting great play out of Colston coming down and some big pickups. And they always get good play out of Clark. Next here for Sabod at 4-8 is of course Brady and some real poor play out of their running back slots last week. So be interesting to see how they do coming back this week. 9-3 Cock and Balls guaranteed. They got the 3.5 Men this week, fighting hard for the bye, and then they got Make It Rain or What the Frig last game of the season. So nothing easy there for Make It Rain. The Bayou Bandits, man, continue to roll. 149 points to 135. Now You're in New York. Now You're in New York now has lost 5 out of 7 since they've changed their name, if anybody cares, if anybody's tracking it. They've got Sabod and the Dogs coming in at 7-5. They're still guaranteed a playoff spot, but again, extremely, extremely interesting what's going to happen to Peyton Manning and the big receiver there. What's the receiver's name that they got? The big receiver.
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne coming home if they stay undefeated. Really, really interesting. The Bayou Bandits, man, I'll tell you, they continue to impress. Both their quarterbacks, as I mentioned on this show last week, on the shelf. They had some major decisions to make. They go in at 5 minutes of 1, pick up Vince Young, who does what? He goes for 31 points and a win, a touchdown in the final seconds to win, which was unbelievable. A game they should have never won, but they did. And Vince Young, ladies and gentlemen, is for real. 1-5 in a row since they put him back in the starting lineup, and he's playing like that number 1 pick that he was. So congratulations to Bayou Bandits. They've got the Dogs this week in a key matchup, and they've got me in week 14 of the season. So really interesting to see what happens here. Last game of the week saw myself the Stuck Fix, which I'm back to the Stuck Fix because I can't get it right no matter what happens. I throw Favre on the bench at 2 minutes to 1, and Schaub does a decent job, goes out and scores me 25, and Favre lights up the league for 54. I do that, I win, going away. But hey, didn't happen, so I'm 5-7. I got Make It Rain this week, which is a must-win for me. I got the Bayou Bandits at the end of it, and I've really got to decide and figure out who I'm going to play. And 3.5 Men, just again, stellar performances. They got the hottest running backs in the league. They got Chris Johnson, who's just running over teams. They got MJD, who's having great weeks in and out. And
Bowling ball.
The bowling ball, as we like to call him here. And we'll see what happens. So again, it's all laid out for you. 3.5 Men, 9-3. They're guaranteed a playoff spot. They've got Cock and Balls this week, and they got Sabod next week. I'm going to do this one more week before we get into the playoffs. Again, welcome to the Man Cave. Who knows where I'll do this next week? I'm going to be sitting right here all weekend, finagling, figuring out what my fantasy team is going to look like, and then I'm going to sit here all day Sunday and Sunday night and watch it and see what happens. So my assistant, thank you. Come on over here, my assistant. Good to see you. Thank you very much. He won his game again last week. So till next week, the Mish over and out. Good luck.